Give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put billions of my access. Yes, you said so.
Should a murderer go to jail for murdering?
Absolutely.
Should a thief go to jail when he steals?
Absolutely.
Should a robber pay back the money he?
Absolutely.
So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did?
That's right.
So it feels payback is a goal. Payback.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacles set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me, make this is countless. The fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Crack in the sky, nuclear missiles to make it official. I'm capturing every crack and surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be. Slavery for me, and let the whole world see that with them in the cage and safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash. Get resolved for the beast. 144, get the brutal show, we get all. Your kingdom, we busting it down. The only way justice is found. The time for your judgment is now.
You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a goal. Payback is a goal. Payback is a goal.
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood slip. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I buy gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember Johanna's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in his body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cocktail. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Bondale. Payback's a bitch in his dress. She a bombshell, just is served cold. I just hope they make an oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in the world of mad shooters. There was designed fire for our babies to pass through it. And the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellum.
You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a goal. Payback is a goal. Payback is a goal. Payback is a goal.
Right. Clap it up.
Yes,
Hey, Shalom. Shalom. Yabashim Shakata. All right. Shalom. viewers. Welcome to Conflict Zone, episode 123. All right. There are some things that's happening that are interconnected, but one. Yeah, I'm getting big work at IMF. So come, I think October, I think, I'm gone left Jamaica and gone to And people hear me say that, and people will say, well, if me I get better money, X place, of course. So you mean, go and take it, yes? Sure, you're going to take it because that is what the word. You remember the story where Satan tempt Christ?
Right.
When he said, cast yourself, bow down before
Mm-hmm.
me, and I will give you all these things. You can find that.
Let me pull it there. Let me pull it. Yeah.
In the meantime, I'm going to read some IMF story as to what was it that gave that caused our finance minister to get this job with the IMF. If you remember, I think we did this we spoke 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
We talk about the IMF.
Right.
And when the IMF, what was it that caused them to give us? We even got some money which they didn't apply for. All right, I'm going to add it to stage. I'm going to read it. All right. Now this is an article from. Is it from IMF? It's an International Monetary Fund press release number 23 of 57. So this is an article from the IMF, right?
Right.
IMF Executive Board approves 968 million under the precautionary and liquidity line and 764 million under the resilience and sustainability facility for Jamaica. One of these funds was thus given as a incentive. So my bank can call me and give me 2 million. All right, I won't be greedy. 1 million US. And go and go make yourself better with this. High interest rate is usury. Definitely usury. That kills a business. If I go borrow at high interest rate, the Executive Board of the International Monetary Fund approved a 24-month arrangement under the precautionary and liquidity line in the amount of US 968 million. That's one. Second point, the Executive Board also approves 764 million under the newly created Resilience and Sustainability Facility. Point 3, the 24-month arrangement will provide insurance against global risks and strengthen physical and fiscal resilience to climate change. All right, now, never in the history IMF never hear say IMF and lend we any money against insurance against global risk. I mean, is it? From the 2 weeks ago when I first read this,
Right.
I was wondering, but I've been saying to myself, that these men know that war is right there on the horizon. Yeah, because what is it that it's a 24-month thing, could cause a global risk in 24 months, if not a war or another pandemic. what is it they are seeing that we're not seeing?
There's like
Yeah.
yeah, and like how you're bringing out on that point, and I why again you see like every podcast or every show that the UPK does or the I.S.U.P.K under Commander General does, the information is so pertinent and but let's look at it as some side or the information that let me say brothers and sisters, in the ghettos, in the bayous, in reservations, would be blind to. And because again our society and the stronghold of society has on on this nation or our people, blacks, Latinos and Native Indian, we would be conditioned just as you brought out earlier on for our wage, we yeah. So it's like I get something good, but now I end up doing no, I forget my brother, I forget my sister, and thinking on this line like, yeah, you good. When really and truly it's just like any other system set up by this society is to to continue in the oppression house. And this is why it's so important, to bring all this information, especially, in this time and right now, where we see again, as you say, the world on the brink of war. Yeah, so again.
Yeah, they know it's on the brink of war.
Mm-hmm.
But life and things start to looking up,
Mm,
things start looking better, and when you talk about that, it's you bad mind, as if say you have control over these things that is happening.
right. And that why you see like how you see that this is why it's so important when we can even make mention. He say he came for those that are lost, not for those that are saved. So a man thinking, our brother thinking, that he good, then no, it had the brother who ain't good. And this is why again, we see in this truly, as we say, truly, and the care for brothers and sisters, what we go do? We will reach out. Just as we say in many food drives that they see, many clothing drive. Look school way on the brink of opening right now. How much families, as you say, black families, you know, the children, would not be able to send, the children to school in, as you say, in this semester that is going to be open, or this term that we just use in the Caribbean that is going to be open. Yeah.
Mm, yeah, how much parents
Mm-hmm.
not able to send their kids back to school, especially since you have the hurricane here.
Mm. See, you see, yeah.
Yeah, hurricane here affect. As a matter of fact, when I do a drive through in
Mm-hmm.
the affected areas,
Mm.
I mean, you see people clean up the place, but
Right.
the damages can still be seen.
Mm.
And many of these places gonna remain damaged because these so-called growth that our economy is making
Mm.
is not seen at the grassroots level for one.
Mm.
It's not seen at the grassroots level, and it's not even the opposition are asking sometime,
Mm.
you know, where is this growth? Where which sector our sectors contribute to this growth? Is it because you're not seeing it? You're not hearing that, okay, some new place open up and more people getting work.
Mm. Mm.
But one thing I can tell you, what caused the finance minister to look so successful is the government's policies and uh, I don't really want to put it up, but there come some improved policies in collecting taxes.
Right.
So in other words, now the tax net, the speed, the hole in the net. When you have a fish net, the fish net is built so that the small fish would fall through and not get caught in the net, right?
Right.
Well, it seems like what they have done is kind of tighten that small hole where the smaller man would have fall through.
Because you know why? No, again, it's just like, the seeing the value of the small fish.
Mm-hmm.
They see the value of it. So now instead of, as I say, making it fall out now we're gonna do the tighten it up. So the only thing that be real minute in order to go through it. So now what we will call small, because it have value. Why we have value? Because we value we brothers, we value we sisters.
You touched a good point there. You talk about how you value each other because
Mm.
our finance minister, they were reading out his accolades the other night.
Right.
And at first, when I saw him, I thought he was someone who used to live abroad and just come and jump like that. Because most of them they bring
Yeah.
expats out here to work. So
Mm.
I thought he was one of them expats. But when I listened to his accolades, he has been working in Jamaica from he left university.
Mm.
And he's one who has been working with figures,
Mm.
right? I'm not giving him, I'm not showing him props in his way, but the point I'm trying to make is whenever our people do anything successful in our country, some bigger organization outside of the country, right across the Caribbean, it happens, always come and pull them away.
Mm-hmm.
So they are not able to stay and continue to make meaningful contributions.
Mm.
Yeah. So him come and him sharpen up the place. But one of the things I know the government did during the COVID pandemic time there, when I think it was the second year, the lockdown started in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 2021 when a lot of countries locked down.
Mm-hmm.
They did not close Jamaicans within lockdown. Instead, what they did, they opened up the tourism sector, the all-inclusive hotel.
Right.
So visitors would come in and be locked away in the hotel,
Mm-hmm.
right? They were not mingling with everybody.
Right.
So I think this growth really came from the tourism sector.
Mm.
Well, I wouldn't say growth because it's not about that. It's gain more than growth because when you talk about growth now, then your business will be growing and things like that. But what really happened was gain.
Mm.
Yes, because I think they also get a record number of tourists visitors abroad,
Mm.
people would come out here because for some reason, I don't know if it's because you're in the heat or what. They go out in the sun. But I remember COVID
Then
started peaking during the winter time.
mm.
So, they would come out here during that time when it's winter over there, but the sun is still shining hot out here.
Yeah.
They can go outside, go out wherever, because even though they said the beaches were closed, it wasn't closed to non-tourists.
Mm. You see?
Yeah.
And that just to show you again the privilege of being, our oppressor right now in this society. They're all the privilege, and again, enjoy it. Enjoy it while you have it. So
Enjoy it while it lasts, indeed.
yeah, and this is why we say, tell brother, hey, ask all the question because no, this is the place. That brothers and sisters the viewing, as you say, viewing the little podcast. Jump in on the podcast, ask the questions, and as you say, in time to come, we go open up our phone line because now this is where it is. Because now when you really look at, hey, yeah, Shalom, Yabashim Shabbat.
Hey, Shalom, Chupa, Shalom. I
Hey,
don't. I didn't see that you came in. Yeah, I
hmm.
was in Shabakata. The
It
mic is
might be,
mute. Mic is
yeah,
mute.
Salakia Adawanyam, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbarakatham.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yabashim
was in
Shabbat.
Shabakata. All things.
Man, I can't complain, Adawan.
Mm-hmm. Musa and Christ.
Yeah, I can't complain. Damn. Take
Damn
time
right.
talk. Don't make Christ here. Don't make Christ here. You might not bother come.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you Ab, you know how I go. I'm, just making the best of this slavery. You know what I'm saying? Of this hell.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Right.
You know.
Can you access the I think it's this article that we're reading.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna read the second paragraph.
As there's been ample others eating us, so I say the keep
The foundation
supported by sound policy frameworks and policies prioritizing microecon- microeconomic stability, the
macro,
microeconomic
micro is the smaller one.
Salakia, macro
Right.
economic stability. The economy is now recovering strongly as COVID-1 tourism has rebounded to pre-crisis levels. In 2022, real GDP growth is expected to be around 4%. Public debt is on a downward trajectory, and the overall fiscal balance is in line with the medium-term fiscal framework. Pushed by global factors, in particular, the impact of the war in Ukraine on commodity prices, inflation has risen above the Bank of Jamaica's target band, but is declining since mid-2022. High commodity prices have resulted in an increase in the current account deficit, but international reserves remain at healthy levels. The financial system is well capitalized and liquid.
Right. So this is what IMF is saying. They're looking at Jamaica and say, "Oh, money are running in Jamaica, man. So let's give them some money."
Yeah.
No, the money that they give you, if you're grandpicking, your grandchildren will be paying back that. All right. So they saw that as good. It's good that Jamaica performing and blah blah blah. All because of also the good deeds are sensible deeds of the finance minister, who is a Jake, by the way. Now, because of his his work, is not contribution. These are paid work. These are iron hands. All right, I send you another link now, which is a follow up to his good works that show you what become of him. Nothing bad.
And again, it show you, just I just say, it shows you, you know, how they would, have, let me say, their stronghold in in hands, within the, let me say, it within the country, because now they will look at certain revenues that, as you say, will be generating funds, and now they would see it as an opportunity, let me say, to pump, or to push funds within the, you know system, that to generate that funds over a period of time. And again, who would be the ones holding these positions, you know, let me say, where food is concerned, where, any economic growth is concerned, the heathen will be holding these positions. So now who would be benefiting off it? Again, it's just like that filter, or system. It filter in, and it making that circle, but that circle passing over your head. It didn't going so, it going so, it going over your head.
Yeah.
It's circling over your head. Yeah.
Well, that circle has been circling over in Jamaica for money has been circling in those circles for maybe from slavery time.
Yeah. Like throughout the Caribbean, that's
I
true,
mean,
as you say. Yeah.
I always say this: Jamaica is not a poor country,
No,
As
the
much as I say
Caribbean
them
is not poor. The Caribbean not poor.
a
The
poor,
Caribbean not poor.
80, 80.
Mm,
The Asian economy is reflecting to be poor,
mm, mm,
but 80 not poor.
mm,
But for some reason, they are not able to tap in on whatever resources
Hmm.
mm,
that that would make them rich.
Right.
mm,
The oppressor is indeed tapping on those resources.
Right.
All right,
mm.
you bring up that article.
Come,
Yeah,
come.
and so like, just before, and that why I show you the reflection, because now every image, or as we say, when you look into the mirror, you get a reflection, and wherever reflection bounce back off, that is exactly where, again, we would really see, and the image that they would be portray, as we say, throughout Jamaica, throughout the Caribbean, to Trinidad, throughout where, as we say, these people, or the children of Israel reside. It would always have a reflection, as good for nothing, as bad.
Exactly. Them good for nothing people. Yeah. All right. Let's touch that because we're coming in more
Yeah.
and them talking about good for nothing people, because I mean they give us everything to make us be good for nothing. You know how much companies make money in them the financial year not finishing. You know how much companies out here reporting profits improved, making more money than they made last year
Hmm.
at this point in time. And at the same time, the the man on the grassroots, what him get is guns, right? So what's the correlation? And the if the guns blazing in Jamaica was so bad and not controlled, there's no way tourism could have been growing, and there is no way that these various financial and industrial sectors, the various sectors that are making money, there's no way they could be making money. So the guns obviously is controlled to blaze in particular areas.
That's right.
Or if these guns were out of control, you'll be seeing people fleeing from Jamaica. And I'm not talking about persons that are directly in arm's way because you know them relative might be involved or they themselves might be involved. You know, you would expect people like those to try to make a getaway because they are first party involved or second party involved. But the non-involved, like me and others, and Willie Moore, you don't see persons trying to leave because, of crime. In other words, if that starts happening, then you will start to see it reflecting in the economy, and you would start, then maybe the government will do something about it. Whenever you start to have capital flight because they can't take the crime situation in Jamaica. In other words, a company might just want to pack up and leave and say, "Why things getting too bad out there, yeah, man, we can't stay." That's the time when the government is going to do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
But that time, it's going to be too late. Which is why, persons been calling for, you need a sustainable solution to crime. Why is it that is the poor man left with the crime? Why these companies are making profits? What's the relation? And two things we want to touch on that. Let's touch on the finance minister's appointment to IMF. The one I sent to Trooper.
Couple concert. IMF taps Jamaica finance minister for deputy role.
Right. So they want to give him they give him a deputy. All right, let's read that. Let's see if they mention it here.
Come. Kingston, August 26. The International Monetary Fund on Monday named Jamaican Finance Minister Nigel Clark to a top post at the agency after the official spearheaded fiscal reforms in the Caribbean nation. Clark, nominated by IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva, is set to replace Antoinette Saye as one of the IMF's 3 deputy managing directors at the end of October. Clark is an exceptional public servant and policymaker, Georgieva said in a statement, adding he had stewarded his country's economy to a stronger and more sustainable position.
All right. So the point that I want to make is right there. So he's able to bring the country, the economy now, to a stronger, more sustainable position. But you remember earlier in the IMF paper that you were reading, it mentioned macroeconomy. When you were saying micro, but it was actually macro. That was there?
Yes, come.
Right. Because, in other words, his attention was given to those at the head. But I mean, it makes sense. You bring in the money first.
Mm-hmm.
So, in other words, now, let's say he was able to remain for a while. The next thing he would have to do now is start to deal with the microeconomy. But guess what now? Somebody take him away. So in other words, the poor people get job. Hold on, you fell out. Salaki, sir. I didn't see that you came out.
Yes, okay, that's a call now. Yeah, I'll call this. Yeah, man. It frees up.
Yeah, he in the Adawan in the Matrix.
Yeah, he frees up. No, just I call that's out there. So yeah, what I say?
Yeah, I heard it. A call came.
Yeah. I'll make a little spin a little bit now. Because I remember the time difference, you know, freeze up again. Hmm.
Con.
Yeah. Yeah. You chat after. Where you all was at?
We're reading a new article. We're reading this second article about the finance minister of Jamaica.
Okay.
Sounds like he's been given a new position as the deputy.
Okay. Just like anything they'll do, as we say, do us as a people. You know, they should keep on shuffling we around. You know, again to continue to keep their basket, you know, afloat. To making sure that every bird that dropping in, it get filled up to the head now. Just like I mentioned in earlier, that circle in really circulating to the bottom, it's circling overhead. And we as we say, we just beneath that circle. But again, this is why it's so important for us now today to really come and sit down again and in these classes or to join in on these podcasts to ask questions because your question really relevant right now. It's really important because now it could help our brother, it could help our sister, it could even help, further in the truth. And this is why it's so important because now again the season that we're in right now is fishing and brothers and sisters really need this, this truth, and with us being brought up in the right spirit and in the spirit of the Most High and Christ, and again, our King Yahushai, and being, taught under righteous black men, now we could be able to do this. Could be able to relay or remind brothers and sisters how important it is and how important this truth is to us as a people and a nation. Because now again, the Bible is all recorded history. And everything that we're reading here, again, people might look at it slight, that we just reading an article. But now we could go into the records and really pull out resources in the records to show the same exact thing was taking place even in the time of our many different captivities under our oppressors. And they have in a hand, in living a lavish lifestyle by
Right.
doing what? By feeding off of, the resources. Yes, okay.
That's heavy, out of one.
Mm, 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 mm.
Salaki, out of one, if I could.
Yeah, you could go ahead. Go ahead.
There's a saying that they say in America about the greatness of America has been built on the backs of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
Now you too, Abi, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you too, Abi, go ahead.
Come. I yield. That was it. I just wanted to, bring that out. Because it's it's basically what what you were saying about how
Mm-hmm.
in our past captivities, they have their economy, and their kingdoms have, thrived off of our, off our labors,
That's right.
and it's the same thing that's going on here in America,
That's right.
and also, how Officer Abadawan was talking about the guns that's being put in certain areas in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
There's people over here in the States, in Chicago, that say the same thing, how they just drop, boxes of guns off, in the alleys, so it's
Wow.
amazing.
Right.
Con, same, the same thing the same thing that they're doing, the same tricks, same stunts, that they're pulling over there, that that is going on over here. I yield.
That's right. That's right. And you see how important it is now again to bring out certain information, because now, as you see, as young men coming up in the truth, even as yourself, as a young as we say, brother coming up in the truth, being, as you say, going through the stage or the phases, just like each and every one of us went through, from the stage of trooper to becoming an officer, to be able to, to bring out or to relay certain things, because now that care for brothers and sisters is what, we would have in our spirit, because now the spirit that we carry is the spirit of the Father, which is the Most High God, and that spirit filtered wrong through the King Yahushai, and filtered down through the men who, was chosen to do what? To bring this truth, or to keep this truth, because now again, outside as you say, at this body, or outside of the I.S.U.P.K, under commanding general, and I see how watered down the truth is. Now everybody looking for, let me say, a quick buck, just like the oppressor would do, and that what tell you, the information that you're reading, you could see the same thing happening with these, as we say, these fake groups and them, because now they just like, looking for some financial gain or some financial background. Who is the most vulnerable? Us, blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. This is why it's so important. And again, the conflict zone, this is where we're in right now. Yeah, so like, yeah, go ahead, Officer Abalo.
Come, sir.
You good, Abalo?
We just want the part where I think it's 8.
Five.
Right. 8 to 10.
8 to
5.
10? 5. Yes, 5. Right. Yeah.
The 8 to 10.
Right, yeah, 8.
Come.
8 to 10.
All right.
I'm not hearing. What is it? What?
Now you to have, because you just want to draw
What
the,
is
to the
it?
point. You hear me?
I hear you say 5.
Oh, no, no. I'm now seeing with the point you was drawing to now. So yeah, 8 to 1.
Okay. The book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 8.
Right. 8.
Come, sir. Blessed are the pure in heart.
No, chapter 4. Chapter 4.
Salakia. The book of Matthew, chapter 4.
Chapter 4, verse 8.
And verse 8. Come. Again, the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain, and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them. Verse 9.
Right. So Christ now, hold on. So Christ now was set to inherit the kingdom of heaven. And the devil was tempting him with the kingdom of heaven is to come, but the kingdom of the world is here already. So the devil was tempting Christ with the things that are here.
Right.
And he was telling him, it took him up on an exceeding high mountain, and they showed him all the kingdoms of the world. Verse 9.
Come. Verse 9.
Verse
And
9.
saith unto him, all these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me.
Right. So this again. The tempter was tempting Christ by saying to him, bow down and worship me, and I will give you these things. In other words, Christ, all right, in order to inherit the kingdom, Christ had to do some work, right?
Right.
Right. He had to do some work, and he was putting in the work. You know, he was working with his disciples, he was gathering the people, gathering the 12 tribes. But the devil was showing him kingdoms that was already established and said, all you have to do is just worship me and you get it. All right, next verse.
Salaki Adawan, if I could, how would you like, it's when it says if thou wilt fall down and worship me, you like in today's time, what would be an example of falling down and worshiping him in order to get rewards from the devil?
Well, all Christ would do is just stop gathering the 12 tribe.
Sir, I mean, if I could, I meant like, what would be an example of somebody in today's time, doing, falling victim to that, worshiping the devil.
Right. Yes, so right? And that is a very pertinent question, a very good question as well too. And this is why the information is really needed. And the example is around us today. When you look at the condition that we face and even coming out at that condition, and us falling down and worshiping would be again us joining hands with the oppressor, taking up the customs, taking up the culture, right? So this is why it's so important now, and this is why you be seeing two sides of the story, and this is what we're reading about, because now again Satan or that the spirit, pull one side. Now you're seeing our king now giving the other side. Just like you asking this question now, you see one side, but now the other side now is we now being revived. And you see now us today as a people coming out of our condition, being revived from that state that just as you make mention of.
Okay.
Right. So and one example in particular of we. All right. Satan was wanted Christ to leave what he was doing to come over to something that was already built. We have a finance minister who was building something right here in Jamaica. He improved the economy. Then he was tempted, but him he to the temptation, him gone. He leave the kingdom that he was building right here. And why is that so? Because our leaders are hired hands. Christ is not hired hands.
Mm.
In other words, what Christ was not being paid for what he was doing. What he have is an inheritance.
Mhm.
What you and I have in the kingdom of heaven is not, you won't be a salaried worker in the kingdom of heaven. You're the truth now, you're putting in the work, you won't be a salaried peer worker in the kingdom of heaven. What you will have is an inheritance in the kingdom. Right? Mr. Clark now him leave what he was building here now and him gone for what? 3 times the salary that he was getting here. But you know, he could have stayed and build the economy better, because you just start something now and you know it look good and thing. Here comes the devil now, come take you away and carry you gone into his kingdom. So what is going to happen to your kingdom that you were building? Maybe next year or whenever, when you know the thing, because he was the one building it. He understood what was to be done. That's why. Because when like I say, I was reading his past work history and what he studied and things. He was always working with numbers. He did from a degree, I think he had a degree in maths and some other thing. And his PhD again is numbers. So he's a man who has always been working with numbers. And that numbers that he has been working with pay off now in the end. But him now gone to IMF. You think his presence in the IMF is not going to say how he's going to look out for Jamaica. The IMF is always taking a dump on Jamaica. Him being there is the same thing going on. Policies come in and they take a dump on Jamaica again. Right? And the Caribbean at large. Right? Because now everyone gonna leave the kingdom that he was building here. And this is how even we working here in the kingdom, we have to be mindful of the work of the devil, because you see, we can come and entice you, take you away, show you that you know you can, because many of us here in the truth, you know, if we were to be in the world working and say we weren't called by the Most High, because Christ did say that no man come unto him unless he be called by the Father. Paraphrasing. Now, yeah, if we weren't called by the Father, you know, we would be rich in this world, you know, because we have, many of us in the truth have made the preparations to be rich. Sorry, not to be rich, but to be successful in this world. So it would have been paying off, but we gave up all that to come and build the kingdom, to help Christ in gathering the 12 tribes, right? And because we're doing that now, we're able to look back in the world and to see the mess that we were in, and to see that if we truly want to help, for us to truly help the 12 tribes, we can't do it in the world. Because as soon as you show any sign of success, these are the things that is going to happen. Some bigger force is going to come, entice you, take you away. They do that all the time in the Caribbean. Whenever US, Canada, or the UK is short on teachers and nurses and doctors in particular, they always come in the Caribbean to recruit. And they take away your best teacher, your best nurse, your best doctor, those who were doing some good groundwork in Jamaica here, and they're gone. Entice them, take them away.
Yeah.
And then we now wonder, why is it that the grassroots man is so into guns? Why is it that the grassroots man is the one pulling the trigger, even though he is not able to buy a gun? Few of them able to buy some troubled guns, because when they get caught with it, not only are they charged, you know, some man buy some guns, illegal guns, you know. Well, yeah, it's gonna be illegal. But the gun that the grassroots man is able to buy are the gun that would be in his range to purchase is always troubled gun. They call them some hot gun. And it's hot because who selling it kill somebody to do it, or is guns that is linked to other murders. So you see, when him get caught with it, not only will he be charged for having it illegally, but he's gonna now charge for all the crimes that gun is pinned to.
That's right.
That's the kind of gun that the poor man can afford. The gun that many of them is now firing is not that kind of gun. There's some guns that come down here, whether they come in a barrel or they come in a crate. We don't know how they get here, but they get here and they are not made here. Right? So when these bigger institutions that is run by the devil that the Bible speaks of, when they see successful people in your zone, they take them away. It's the same thing Satan was trying to do with Christ.
Right.
Christ was showing success out there, you know. And what Satan tried to do, said, come on, you see all them pretty things there, I'll give you, man.
Right.
Just worship, bow down to me.
Right.
Right? Same thing that is happening. And we have to look on these examples that is set there in our scriptures and to realize that we cannot help each other by being in the world.
Yeah.
Which is why we here in the truth have to tell our brothers, listen, forget about the voting. Forget about this, forget about that. Yes, you have to eat. Yes, you have to work. Of course, we do work. We here in the UPK, we do work.
That's right.
But if it comes to the case where some line has to be drawn, we know which side we going on.
Yeah.
You could end up out there in the world. What are you going to gain? There's nothing for you to gain out there. One more scripture, one more point I want to bring out. You remember this scripture about gleaning? Thou shalt not glean the corners of your field.
Right.
I think it's in Deuteronomy. Do not glean your vineyard. All right, Leviticus 19, verse 10.
Come.
Let me see. I see which one would better still. Whether if it's Leviticus or I think it's in Deuteronomy as well. 19 and 10.
Come. That's the other one.
Hold on.
24 and 21, that is Deuteronomy.
As well. Huh?
Deuteronomy 24 and 21. That is next.
All right, this is what 19 and Leviticus 1 is what 19 and 10. I said. All right.
Come. Leviticus chapter 9.
Leviticus 19 and 10 can work because it brings out that part which I want to zone in on. How you help the poor in your kingdom. Right? And people look at the Bible and say the Bible, oh, it's a 3,000-year-old book or 2,000-year-old book, and yeah, you have all the kind of things to say against the Bible. You know, God, the Bible put God in a box and blah blah blah. None of you should be complaining about anything to the Bible until you have done everything in the Bible. Then you can say, okay, we finished that and we passed the test. We need more now. Because one thing, as simple thing as stopping crime, right? It tell you about vineyards. All right, Leviticus 19 and 10.
Come. Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 10. And thou shalt not glean thy vineyard, neither shalt thou gather every grape of thy vineyard. Thou shalt leave them for the poor and stranger. I am the Lord your God.
All right. So, where is, all right, like I mentioned earlier that many of our companies here in Jamaica, they are reporting profits, you know, third quarter profit and making more money than they made last year this time. And well, when you look at the crime too, they're doing less crime than we're doing last year. But does that make sense? In our kingdom, the one that Christ was building, the one that the devil was trying to tempt Christ away from, that kingdom, the rich take care of the poor. This where it was saying to leave the gleaning of your vineyard for the poor. In other words, don't strip your vineyard of everything. Because the Most High knows that there will be poor people.
Mm-hmm.
Today, there are still poor people. But where is the gleaning of the vineyard that you're supposed to leave for them so that they don't turn to crime? Today, you'll get more sophisticated, you have bigger words. So I will use bigger words in asking you, where is the social intervention programs that is supposed to provide for the poor so that they don't turn to crime?
Shalaki out of one.
Yeah.
Well, also the equivalent to that, you know, it say don't glean your vineyard, leave some for the poor. So is that would the equivalent to that also be like make sure that there's jobs, for the lower class, so they won't have to resort to robbing and stealing and committing crimes.
Exactly. So you provide jobs for them. Donald Trump in his campaign, I don't know if it was this, I think it's since campaigning for this one, where I'm saying the illegal immigrants, especially them Hispanics, taking away black jobs.
I heard that.
You remember that?
I heard that.
Right.
I heard him say that.
Right. Because these jobs provided in the system is what, this is how you provide for the poor. Right? So these companies now, they make, this year you make extra $300 million than they make last year. How much of that money is going back into providing some job for the grassroots persons, the poor. You don't put back any. So in other words, you are gleaning the vineyard.
Mm.
And there are companies in which I could, read their financial gains, but it don't make sense I single out anybody, because I would have to really call all of them. You call one or two, then you're going to get the impression like you are singling persons. And that's not what we're doing. We're not singling out any company. We're talking to every single one of them, right? Where is this program that you provide? I mean, you have a lot of what you call them again, non-profit organization, even like us, who do things for the poor and so on. Unfortunately, you can't get anything from these companies who report in big profits. You can't get anything from them when you to get something from them, because it's something for the poor.
Salaki Adawan, can you hear me? Salaki Adawan, can you hear me? I think you froze. There we go.
Ah, boy. So even the Wi-Fi trying to glean its corners and squeeze us out, eh? But this is the reality of the world that we're in, which is why we say we know that you can't live in this world here. You can't right. In this world you can't fix the most high people while being in this world, because the Bible have everything into fixing these people in the most high's world, most high's people, but it involves all hands on deck. It involves the rich playing their part to give back to the poor.
Right.
I want to say give back to the poor. The poor now come beg you nothing. That is why I put it in the law, say you don't clean your forest, because that's law. And I beg you poor, I beg you nothing. The most I say you have to do it. Most I say leave it. And you know that not gleaning the corners of your field has nothing to do with tides.
Right.
That has nothing to do with tides. You leave that in the field for that is the social intervention to prevent poverty or to alleviate poverty.
That's
Right.
right.
And this is if you were one who plant corn, or you were one who plant wheat, or you planted grapes, you planted fruits, olives, whatever vineyard you have, you would leave some for the poor. And the poor people now would go and take that, so that they don't have to come and beg and turn trouble to you, the rich, and come look on the riches that you have and try and wonder how him can and you have that thing there again. Bible provides against that. And I don't know, I don't know how our government could do things like this. They can't. I mean, one try in the 70s and this very CIA came down. All right, so man, this is something else. You can't even get good internet to speak to the people. I understand. You hear? Sorry, you hearing me, Trooper?
Come.
Right. So I mean, that's the dilemma that we are in. Whether you are in the Caribbean or in the US, it's the same. The oppressor find ways to take away these things that should be going to you. But General Mahayman yesterday class, that class was a deep class. You are in this kingdom for over 400 years, and you have to be competing with some people who just come 20 years ago.
Right.
It shows that this place is not your rest indeed. Right? If the grassroots people in Jamaica have to be joining gangs so that they can improve their lives, when you have these companies making profits, which is not bad to make profits, but you're all gleaning the field. Where is the corners of your field that you're supposed to leave? Where is that which, and people read this and think that you apply it only to the field. In those days, that was the wealth. You farm, you give to the poor. But suppose you were one in the city, you still find a ways and give to the poor. You would give a 10% to the temple, and the temple would take care of the poor. But and that's still separate from taxes. But these companies now they are looking and saying, all right, we're paying out one whole heap of tax to the government, and the same government make it such that if you should give to these non-profit organizations that is out there putting in the work on the ground, Yeah, but I don't understand them system, you know. This hours of the night, and you can't even get internet. And they're talking about they want to raise the charge. Anyway,
So like,
we'll be coming to a close thing. I was saying that these companies out there making the profit, you know. The same government who you balling that you pay all for money to government and blah blah blah. If you give to these non-profit organizations, it comes back out of your taxes. So in other words, you people paying less for taxes. And guess what? These non-profit will be helping the poor so that they don't have to fall victim to the gangs. But you know, there was a huge drug fine in Jamaica the other day, you know. The largest in the history of drug fines in Jamaica. It's worth couple billion Jamaican dollars. Couple million US. And I'm sure that money is not for the poor. It's not poor people have that money they're sitting on. That drugs money, you know. Well, it wasn't the money they found, it was the drugs itself.
Who was real? If I could,
in other
sir.
words, it wasn't the poor that had. Yeah, okay.
Did they have somebody in custody responsible for bringing it in?
Well, they found it in the presence of about 4 or 5 persons.
Were they black?
Definitely.
Okay.
Which make you know that those who they found it with, it's not their own.
Right.
It's not theirs. The cops probably know that too, but I mean, what are they going to do? The cops have hold on to them and then they tell them who it belongs to, which they can't do. They won't be doing. So that's another story. But the thing is, it's the grassroots people that get the messy end of the stick at all time.
That's right.
Get the blame, get the incarceration because what? They're trying to find food.
Right.
Because in our kingdom, the Most High did not.
Right.
Right. In our kingdom, the Most High did not put the poor through things like that.
Right.
The poor didn't have to go and rob to survive.
Right.
It was a duty
Comic-Con
of the rich to take care of them.
Right. It was stipulations
and
put
also,
in place.
you couldn't charge usury. Can't charge usury to your brother. So that was another way to alleviate poverty. Yeah, you want to say something?
Comic-Con, sir. You know, that's so heavy what you're saying because in our kingdom, you know, laws like you shall not glean your vineyard. Those laws were put in place, you know, so you don't have to go out and do, commit crimes, and even for those that do commit crimes because they're hungry and they're trying to feed themselves, we have laws for those type of situations too, that have a degree of mercy attached to them, unlike, the laws of America. I believe I heard, it's people that have gotten life sentences for stealing a jacket or stealing, something that costs less than $100,
Right.
but because
they get what?
they have gotten life sentences, for stealing things in a
Really?
Comic-Con, sir. It may not happen often, but there are cases, where a black person or black people have gotten ridiculous sentences, over petty crimes. I yield.
Right, right. Which show that this kingdom is not our rest.
That's right.
You know. Anyway, the time has passed. We have some other topic. We'll probably have to leave it for next week. But anything else you want to add before we run off?
I'd just like to say thanks for having me on, Adawan, Most High in Christ.
All right. So, any message to the Caribbean people?
To the people, I just like to say shalom, to the people in the
to the Caribbean people.
Khan. I like to say shalom. Tune into the I.S.U.P.K. Jamaica. I.S.U.P.K. Jamaica is out there to help you all. Tune in, learn your culture, help be a part of building this kingdom. Everything outside of the I.S.U.P.K. is a waste of time. You're not in the truth if you're not in the I.S.U.P.K. I yield. Get in contact with this brother right here.
All right, so that's it.
Come, sir.
All right, so to our listeners, remember to subscribe to our I.S.U.P.K. Jamaica channels. Remember to pay your tithes, like, share, subscribe. We have our Passover coming up April 12th. I think it's April 12th. It's in April. So of next year, that is. So start saving for the Passover. We need to see more of our people coming into the kingdom because this is not our rest.
That's right.
I mean, you might look like you're progressing in this kingdom, but pretty soon you're gonna see how they're gonna find ways to take back what you have. War is coming, and guess what? The worst thing is you're gonna see your own people doing it, So you're gonna think that it's your people doing it, which way your people now will be working for the oppressor. But anyways, like I say, this is Officer Abadawan, Officer 1000 from Abadawan, Jamaica. This is a conflict zone where we deal with the conflicts that our people has to deal with. Shalom.
Shalom.
Hey, shalom, trooper.
Shalom, Officer Abadawan. I'll see you next week.